Okay, Monday, 20th of January, 2025. So Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Money Monday, Bitcoin and the other stuff. Understanding Bitcoin's intrinsic value. Now, bit of an interesting topic, somewhat controversial. Because a lot of people will say that Bitcoin ticks a lot of boxes except intrinsic value. Meaning it has no inherent use. Meaning there's nothing we can use it for in industrial purposes to build things, to create stuff. And there's a few different ways of looking at this. Off the top of my head, there's three different ways of looking at this. One, you could say that the intrinsic use is, interestingly, the altcoin market. Because it's open source software, looking at Bitcoin as a first principle view, it's open source software, meaning the world we live in is dominated by software. So we can use software to build and do other stuff, meaning it allows us to do stuff. What's the intrinsic value of, say, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Google? We can't touch it, we can't use it to build a house, but we can use that software to do stuff in the world. Meaning, altcoin market, but that's extremely controversial and no one really says that, but it makes sense logically. But also, the intrinsic value is, because of the first principles again, all the other features, money you can own, money you can spend, apolitical, deflationary, censorship resistant with a fixed supply. You could say, well, it's a perfect kind of money. That's a store of value you need to account and what's it called? Thing of exchange. Meaning that it's money in its purest form, stripped away of all the other distractions, all the other impurities, all other monetary premiums. Meaning gold, people are buying it for industry and people are buying it store of value. And those are distorting the price because they're dual usage, but instead just one usage. Really, it's like any other metal, it's only got industrial use. But here, Bitcoin's only got monetary use, no other distractions. And then you could say, well, it has intrinsic value. And then I can exchange it for things. It doesn't need intrinsic value because I can trade it for other stuff, meaning barter, trade. Therefore, it's irrelevant. Because then you could say, oh, you can't build a house using Bitcoin. Yeah, but I can trade it for wood. I can trade it for bricks. I can trade it for a house, for an estate agent. You can't eat with Bitcoin. Yeah, but I can go into Tesco's or sue the supermarket and, through clever ways, exchange it for food. Oh, look at that. And suddenly you could say, Bitcoin's intrinsic use is everything. Because I can trade it for food, trade it for clothes, trade it for anything. Pens, books, computers, software, hardware, clothes, glasses, mugs, you name it. Therefore, it can be traded for anything. So its intrinsic value is everything by some logical extension. But also, you could go real to the extreme and look at the Austrian angle, the Austrian School of Economics, and say value is subjective. Now, my issue with this argument is it's very post hoc. It's explaining the thing after it's happened, meaning Bitcoin is what it is, and then reverse engineering a reason why that's a feature. That's my issue with it, but the logic still stands up, meaning value is totally subjective, and then when you follow that logic, it doesn't need intrinsic value. Again, the monetary premium argument is a distraction. I did a video about this as well a week or two ago. You could say that monetary premium is a distraction. Therefore, it's good there's no intrinsic value. And then you could say intrinsic value is subjective. Meaning, what I value, you may not value, and vice versa, and someone else, and someone else. And this is underscored in economics as well, what is called the law of marginal utility. The more we have of something, the less we value it. That glass of water here is immaterial. But a glass of water in the desert is priceless. Wow. Diamonds here are relatively rare and expensive. But on other planets in the solar system, diamonds are abundant. They're everywhere. And same with gold. I heard about some asteroid, I can't remember the details, a few months ago, whatever, that had trillions of dollars worth of gold everywhere. The more abundant something is, the less you care about it. Oxygen, oh yeah, it's going to be there. You take it for granted. Water, you take it for granted almost. Yeah. Things like that. So the more there is of something, the less you value it. And then the more you have, the less you value it. So that means that value is totally subjective. Therefore, it doesn't need to have intrinsic value because it is what it is. It's an open source piece of software. Again, principles. Money you can own, spend, fixed supply, essentially resistant, deflationary, and apolitical. Wow. No matter how you dice it, no matter how you look at Bitcoin, this logic, that logic, anything, you have to adhere to its first principles as a technology, in a sense of looking at it is what it is. Open source code. Again, Bitcoin is ultimately maths, computer science, and physics. Very powerful. And then you can also say, in some way, it's psychology, because those things affect how we behave, how we act. Anthropology, even, it affects how we behave. But at its core, it's maths, computer science, code, computer science, and physics. So no matter how you dice it and look at it, they're all equally valid. You have to adhere to the first principles of the protocol and the code. You have to adhere to those. Everything else is open for interpretation because that's just the way it was created. Or you could say more accurately discovered, but that's another conversation, just the way it is. And then you can go one step further and say, let the market decide. Let the collective unconscious, let the market, let the universe, let mankind decide what it is by the general direction that it goes in the marketplace, what it's used for in the marketplace, where the money is, so to speak. Money is in this place, that place, over here, doing this, doing that, doing this. Let the market decide. That's a very neutral way of approaching that question. The intrinsic value is the market will decide. If people want to use it as pristine on their collateral, on their ways, that's it. That's the intrinsic value. It's collateral. If people want to use it as store of value and holding a purchasing power over time, because Bitcoin is able to transport your wealth through money, through time and space, that's it. That's that. And you could say, again, these are very post hoc, explaining something away, reverse engineering a solution, but you can't escape the first principles. If people use it as a currency to buy things with, bartering, for example, yeah. Lightning Network, yeah, that's it. That's its use as a tool, as a medium of exchange. Powerful stuff. Again, all these things are equally valid because they all adhere to the first principles. The technology itself, again, maths, physics, code. Perfect. So that's an interesting way of looking at it, the intrinsic value. That's very important. Very important. It's something worth understanding. Yes. But otherwise, and again, remember, you have to adhere to the code. Say and do whatever you want in the ecosystem, within reason. I did a video about this as well, actually. You can do anything in life you want, but prepare to face the consequences. But you have to adhere to the code, no matter how you view it or interpret it or view it or understand it. The code is above all. The maths, the physics, the computer science rules everything in the Bitcoin space. The consensus, the algorithm, the Nakamoto consensus, all these things. The difficulty adjustment, the halvening cycle, the block reward, and beyond. And beyond the Merkle trees, that technology, and the real deep stuff. Yeah, the nonsense, the nodes, you name it. Yeah. But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.